You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like, to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
It's time to get inside the Giants Huddle.
Let's go, let's go, let's go.
On Giants.com.
I like it, I like it.
And the Giants mobile app.
Boom, give me some juice.
Part of the Giants Podcast Network.
Let's roll.
Welcome to this episode of the Giants Huddle podcast. It's our Friday edition, coming your way on Wednesday. Why, you ask? Well, it's because the Giants are playing on Thursday Night Football, so we'll have our normal Giants player interview. This week, it is Giants pass rusher Azeez Ojulari. Brian Daboll's interview, we're using the TV interview for radio, so if you want to check out the Brian Daboll interview, just go watch the Brian Daboll show on MSG. You can find it on YouTube as well. But in addition to Azeez Ojulari, we're going to hear from Bryan Broaddus, who's been on our show many times before, usually around the draft. He'll give us about 10 minutes on the Cowboys, the stuff we really need to know. And we'll also be joined by Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman Tyler Smith. So it should be a good episode as we get ready for the Giants and Cowboys on Thursday Night Football. We will lead off with Cowboys offensive lineman Tyler Smith talking about what's going on down there in Big D. And now we're joined by Dallas Cowboys offensive lineman Tyler Smith. Tyler, thanks a lot for joining us today, man. First of all, how you doing? And how was practice this week, this team trying to, stay together and bounce back after a couple of tough losses?
I'm doing well. Thank you for asking. Practice was good. With the shorter, we weren't able to, do as much physical stuff, but it was a lot of time on task, a lot of just understanding the game plan and understanding there may be some carryover from, their last. So just making sure we're on our keys and stuff. But the general energy in the building has been good.
What did you see when you went back and you look back at the tape against the Ravens?
Just missed opportunities. We had a couple of penalties at times that really just killed us, really put us out of position to do what we wanted to do, for me included in some situations. And then just having to take advantage. We got to move the ball on the ground. I feel like that's a big one for us. It's just moving the ball on the ground and just not playing our best ball too late, really starting faster, just being on our keys faster. And I feel like, that will just help us out, in the long run, just really starting fast.
You mentioned it's a short week. This is the first time the Dallas Cowboys have ever played on the road in a short week like this. For a player trying to recover, for you, an offensive lineman who takes a pounding every snap, what's been important to you to make sure you guys are ready to go on Thursday?
Just definitely, listen to the body, getting a good night's rest, hot tub, cold tub, stem, anything I could do in terms of modalities just to make sure, I can get my body back as quick as possible, after a physical game.
Do you guys think your offense has really hit its stride yet where you're playing to the same level you did when you were at your peak last year?
No, I think that's evident by everybody. I think we're doing things well in the passing game right now, because we had to drop my back so many times. But I definitely think there's a lot to be desired just, at all three phases, offense, defense, and special teams right now. I definitely don't think we're shooting at the full clip yet. But things are coming along, and, I think things will get better. It's just our job to make sure it's sooner than later.
You mentioned the pass game. I know offensive linemen, Tyler, they take pride in running the football. And I'm sure you'd like to run the football a little bit better than you have these first 3 weeks. As a line, what can you guys do better to try to get that run game going a little bit?
Just picking up movement in the run game, like whether it be D-line, linebackers, picking up blitzes, and just making sure that, we're on our keys for every opportunity. No missed assignments, no mental errors and stuff like that.
Absolutely. And then you've moved the ball pretty well, but I'm sure you're kicking a few too many field goals. Once you get on the other side of the field, and look, Brandon Aubrey's a great weapon to have, right? You can kick him from 60. He's great. But what can you guys do better to try to do better in more of those condensed areas in the field to try to get in the end zone a little bit more?
I mean, definitely taking advantage of good field position, like when we have it, especially on turnovers. And then just finishing in the red zone. You know, once we get past the 50, once we're pushing into the red zone, really just playing our best ball, making sure that, you know, we're on our keys physically, so there's no penalties, just making sure that, you know, we're doing what we need to do in order to be successful. You know, no penalties, no mental errors, just playing good ball. I feel like, you know, it's such a simple answer to maybe a complex problem, but that's really what it is, just playing good ball, being on your fundamentals, being on your assignment.
A lot of people from the outside looking in, Tyler, have, I think, impressions of what Dak Prescott is as a guy and a player from someone that's in the locker room and in the huddle with him every day. What makes Dak Prescott a special quarterback?
I mean, he's just a great leader, a great dude all around. I mean, he owns everything we do in the building. You know, he stays late, you know, making sure that the game plan is where it needs to be. He encourages us, you know, whenever there's a mental error, you know, whenever there's a missed block or, you know, whatever the case may be, he's always constantly, you know, lifting us up, uplifting us, make sure that, you know, we understand that, you know, we are elite and the standard is to be elite. And so never accepting anything less. And I think he really carries that mantra as a person. I think, you know, he goes about his process in an elite way. He comes into work with an elite mindset, and just like he gets what's important.
How about CeeDee Lamb? What does it do for an offense to have a guy like that, you know, going into every game, the opposing defensive coordinator is taking a big red Sharpie and he's circling that name? How does that help an offense when you know you have a guy that's going to garner that much attention?
I mean, you got a guy who can, you know, flip field position in one play. I mean, he's so explosive. He's so good at what he does. It's definitely just a huge help for our offense in terms of just being able to move the ball around, you know, whether it's running, passing, you know, all that stuff, and just, you know, being able to make sure that, you know, we're meeting the percentages and all this stuff. And he's such a talented guy. Like, it's truly, you know, I could be here all day talking about how great CD is, but, you know, he's just such a great part to have on the team in terms of his ability to make plays.
You're playing between two rookies and Tyler Guyton and Cooper Beebe. And from what I've been able to tell watching the tape, they've played pretty well, Tyler. How quickly have those guys come along in taking on such a big responsibility in their rookie years?
I mean, I think they've done phenomenal. And like you said, you know, they came in quick. They came in ready to go, really far ahead of the curve in terms of just like their mindset, in terms of just understanding that, you know, we have to move with urgency in terms of them plugging in and just playing. So, you know, they're extremely talented guys, and they're only just getting started. So I think the future is extremely bright for them.
When you got there, you kind of had Tyron Smith that you played next to, and he kind of helped you along, I would imagine. How much have you been able to help these guys the way Tyron helped you when you came in and you had to play so early as a rookie?
I mean, you know, I've done my best to just, you know, try to get them to understand that, you know, there's no need to panic. Just, you know, understand your assignment. Make sure, you know, we're communicating well, because, you know, I understand bullets are flying. They got a lot on their plates. This is their first time doing a lot of stuff. So just doing the best I can as a veteran to make sure, you know, their minds are calm and that we're on task.
Final couple questions just on the Giants. I get to watch Dexter Lawrence every week play football. It's a lot of fun, the same way you guys get to watch Michael Parsons. They're just good defensive players. I got to ask, one of the guys that has to block him, what is it like trying to block a guy that is that big but can also move the way Dexter Lawrence does?
I mean, you just got to be on your keys. And, you know, like you said, he's extremely talented, you know, great player. One of the best to probably do it. But, you know, just being on your keys, you know, understanding where he is and how he can affect the game, and just doing your best to, like, limit his influence, the biggest thing. And it really just starts with fundamentals and technique, nothing crazy, nothing out of the ordinary.
Final two questions. Just generically, when you look at the Giants defense on tape, what do you see?
I mean, obviously, I think a glaring thing is their defensive line. You know, they got two athletic, pretty talented ends, and then Dexter Lawrence. So, I mean, he's the huge part of what they do. A lot of what they do defensively is to make sure that, you know, he can come in there and work. So just making sure that, you know, we're trying to limit his influence and just being on top of that. And then, you know, their backers fire. You know, they do a lot of good stuff. So just being on our keys for real.
All right, and then final question. Giants played game 3 much differently than they played games 1 and 2 on defense. They played a lot more man, and they blitzed a lot more. What was your reaction when you saw how much different they looked in terms of their aggressive approach in week 3 compared to those first 2 weeks?
I mean, I thought it was interesting. I mean, it's when you really look at it, I mean, it's kind of their thing, and I expect there to be carryover into this week. But It was just, a big thing is just being in our keys. Like, I noticed, like, the Cleveland offensive line at times, I'm not really sure what they talk about or what their rules are, but they just kind of look like they weren't on the same page at times. So the big emphasis for us is definitely just being on the same page, making sure we're working in unison.
Yeah,
So, stop a lot of the stuff that we're doing.
Yeah, for sure. It looked like they were able to take advantage in week 3 what you guys did in week 1 when you guys played the Browns. Tyler, you were great, man. Thank you so much for the time. I appreciate it, and we'll see you this weekend.
Problem.
Thank you.
No problem. Thank you.
The best part of football season? Checking out the post-game stats. Which wideouts scored more than 2 touchdowns? Which QBs threw for less than 350 yards? Think you can pick who will do what before kickoff? Then play Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, select between 2 and 6 players, and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. It's that simple. And for all first-time Pick 6 players, check this out. New customers play $5 on your first pick set, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code DK1. That's code DK1 for new customers to play $5 on your first pick set, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Non-withdrawable. Pick 6 credits. Expire in 6 months. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
You're ready for a change. Payday comes early with Citizens, so go to that retreat. New you moves to the country. Now you're raising goats and launching a lifestyle brand. Are you ready for all that life brings?
Good stuff there from Cowboys offensive lineman Tyler Smith. Giants Huddle Podcast is brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. From game day celebrations to your everyday financial needs, Big Blue fans can get the most out of every moment with Citizens. Learn more at citizensbank.com/Giants. Now we'll turn our attention to a preview of the Dallas Cowboys with Bryan Broaddus, who covers them for The Fan down there in Dallas. All right, now we bring in Bryan Broaddus. He hosts on 105.3 The Fan, 2 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday. Love the Star podcast as well. The Draft Show on DallasCowboys.com. Frequent guest of the show. Bryan, first time we're getting a Thursday night football version of Giants and Cowboys here. And I think I read today, first time the Cowboys have actually played on a short week on the road on a Thursday night. How about that?
It's amazing, John, and it's great to be with you and all your listeners as well. Yeah, it's kind of unusual for the Cowboys to be doing this again, as you just stated, never before. So, might be catching the Cowboys at the right time. I know a lot of people in the matchup and leading up to this game are thinking, well, it's the same old Giants, and I'm here to tell everybody it's not the same old Giants playing football now. There's better skill. The defensive players you're going to have to deal with. This is going to be a very difficult matchup for the Cowboys because the Giants can do some things that the Cowboys have proven the last couple of weeks that they don't handle very well. I look for this to be a very, very, very close game and a very good game.
Yeah, and I think it could be a high-scoring game too, Bryan, based on how these two teams have looked over the first couple of games. You mentioned some things the Cowboys have not done well. Before we get to that, injury-wise, who should we expect to be on the field for Dallas, you think, on Thursday night, and who might be out?
Well, there's only really the real big question for the Cowboys is about with Carson, the corner. He's dealing with a shoulder injury. It's a shoulder bruise. They're going to take this thing right up until game time. So if that's the case, if he doesn't play, then they're kind of a little bit of in scramble mode. Booth has been inactive every week. McQuamu has played. He's played a lot of special teams. So Dallas will be in a little bit of a spot if Carson isn't able to go, John, on Thursday night. But the indications are that, he's making progress. We'll see the bruise, all that. It is legitimately a game time decision there.
Will they travel digs with neighbors if that's the case?
The problem that they run into when they travel is that the minute that Neighbors decides he goes from one side of the field to the other, then everybody's assignment changes. And I don't know if Dallas is really interested in doing that. That's with a veteran group. If Bland was playing in this football game, I would say that there's a good chance that maybe you would see some travel just because of the veteran aspect of it. You got veteran safeties and stuff, but with the rookie corner with Carson in there, I don't think they would want to do that. So, I say that now, but you never know. On a short week, it might be troublesome as well, with having to deal with all the assignments. But the minute that receiver crosses the center box, now everybody's assignment changes. And so can you handle those changes? I don't know if necessarily that they want to do that in a short week. So I think you're going to see Mike Zimmer. He plays a lot of zone. He's playing a lot of two deep now because of, he just does not want to give up the big play, but they're getting gashed on the run. So they're going to have to figure out some things in that regard as well. But I don't think there'll be any traveling in this game.
I'll make my next question
right now. Yeah,
I'll make my next question as succinct as possible. Then, what the heck's going on with the run defense?
Yeah, really, it's not all about the defensive tackles, and there's been a lot of talk about how poorly that the defense has played, and a lot of people are saying, well, they didn't do anything at defensive tackle, and they really wanted to try and figure some things out. They drafted Mazi Smith, and you and I have talked much about Mazi Smith. You and I talked about him on your podcast and stuff, leading up to the draft. And, Mazi has not lived up to the billing that he was drafted for. And so he played better last week. He was more active. He played more square. He played with more power. The Giants will probably get a little bit better version of him. We'll see what happens inside with Runyon and Smits and others, if they can, if Mazi can maybe take advantage of the situations that he have. I think it's going to be a good battle inside. Matter of fact, on both sides of the ball. I mean, with Cooper Beebe as well, he's going to have his hands full with the Giants and, what we've seen from them. So it's, but yeah, the run game or the run defense, they've had a problem with dealing with the quarter. Well, let's be honest, when you deal with Lamar Jackson, you deal with the quarterback run. The game against the Saints, the loss against the Saints, I felt like watching that tape. It was a beat down in epic proportions. The Ravens game to me was more of some self-inflicted stuff. When you start to talk about fits, finish, tackling, positioning, a lot of things. There were a lot of plays where it was 3-yard gains. And then there were some that were just bust out the gate plays. The problem the Cowboys are going to deal with Singletary is he breaks tackles. Yeah. He is a very good breaker of tackles. And so if they don't tackle well in this game and they don't deal with Jones well in the run option stuff that they can do, Dallas could once again have a lot of problems. Teams just don't throw the ball on them. I mean, it's over 50% now that teams have just run the football on Dallas. Dallas wants to get you in a situation like they got Cleveland in, where all of a sudden the score's kind of in the favor of the Cowboys, and then they could sick that pass rush on you. When they have to sit here and play run defense, it's been a problem. But like I say, the fits, the finish, the positioning, there's a lot of things going on with this Cowboys run defense that clearly the Giants can take advantage of.
Not just the run defense, the defense overall, Brian. Last one on that side of the ball. How much of this is just trying to figure out how to execute Mike Zimmer's defense, which is not the simplest defense in the world. It's very different than what Dan Quinn asked them to do last year. Is this going to get better just by playing more in his system, or are there more fundamental issues here?
I think there's people will say, and Mike and I are really good friends. Mike and I go back to the early 2000s when I was in the scouting department with the Cowboys. And, every time I've ever talked to Mike is a, hey, bring me whoever you want, I'll coach him up guy. He's not big on, he's not big on, oh, I've got to have this. I've got to have this. There's certain parameters and things that he would like with his players. But Mike is a, give me the guys, I'll coach them up kind of a guy. So I don't think it's anything to do with the personnel that he had. I think Mike likes his guys. The problem is they're not playing very well when it comes to the fundamentals of it. Gap control, tackling, these things that we just talked about. The strength of this defense, in my opinion, will be the linebackers. It will be the Eric Kendricks and Overshone and guys like that. When those guys miss tackles, they're in a bad state, and they missed a lot of them against the Ravens last week. So Mike will work with whoever he has. He's not going to use it as an excuse. They've got guys in place that have played this scheme before. Linville Joseph has played in this scheme. Eric Kendricks has played in this scheme. It's just a matter of them going out, and it's going to sound really cliche as heck, but it's really going out and just playing better football when it comes to the fundamentals of what Mike's asking them to do.
We haven't quite seen CeeDee Lamb blow up yet, Brian. Is this a matter of the fact that he wasn't there all summer? He came in late. He's still working into it. Is this other teams just putting so many guys on him so that he can't get going? Or is it something else?
Dallas doesn't run the ball at all. And the last 2 weeks, they've been behind in games. I went on a crusade after the Cleveland game, and I'm like thinking Dallas missed an opportunity to work on their running game against Cleveland in the second half. They had game in hand, they had quarterback in hand. Cleveland wasn't coming back in this football game. So all of a sudden, my thought was, well, why didn't you take the opportunity to work on your running game? Why didn't you just load up Rico Dowdle, load up Ezekiel Elliott, Deuce Vaughn, load up and just see if you can run the ball? And from last week playing against Cleveland will not give you a lot of room to run. They're a very physical team. But you kind of figure out who you are that way. You kind of figure out, like, we need to do better. Our combo blocks are not working. We need more pin and pull. We need more of zone schemes. We need, you figure these things out. Now the excuse is, well, we haven't had the opportunity to really, really work on the run game. Okay, I'm saying this because of CeeDee Lamb. All of a sudden you become a very one-dimensional football team. And you've been behind in a lot of these games. The last 2 weeks, you look up, the score is 21-6.
Right.
That every time. And then you look up, it's 28-6. And you just can't get any stops. They found some things. Lamb wasn't as good in the second half. He had 1 catch for 9 yards. Everybody else, Tolbert, Cooks, Ferguson, everybody else kind of got going. They Hunter Lipke, they used guys and got things going and got back in that football game. We all know what the Ravens can do. The Ravens will kind of beat you up and then they let you back in the game. But again, this is talking about Lamb. Dak has this, we call the Dak yard, where he's got this football field in the back, and him and CD had worked quite a bit together. But there was obviously some misses that they had in the game. Dak missed them a couple of times. CD had a crucial fumble in this game too. Dallas was moving the football, and they were finally finding some rhythm, and Lamb catches the ball and goes inside and then gets it knocked out of his hands for a fumble right on about the 9-yard line, and that just killed the drive right there. And from that point on, it appeared that CeeDee Lamb was fighting himself. He was mad at himself. He was frustrated. He was frustrated with his role, frustrated with how he was playing at the time. He came out and said this just yesterday, that he has to be more of a professional about things. So I think that, CD, the pressure of being one of the top paid receivers, but also one of these guys that he wants to be somebody when things aren't going well, that you can lean on him. You can give him the ball and things will get better. And I think he takes a lot of things personally that way. I don't think he was necessarily mad at Dak or Mike or anybody like that. I think he was more mad at himself for not living up to this new contract that he just signed.
2 more. You mentioned the running game. I have all the respect in the world for Ezekiel Elliott in short yardage, his pass pro and all that stuff. But when I see him running between the 20s, Brian, I got to be honest with you, he seems to fall down an awful lot, and Rico Dowdle just looks like the better running back to me right now.
They're a better team running the ball when they do run the ball without Ezekiel Elliott in the game. And they need to make the determination. On the short week, you're not going to see Dalvin Cook. Now, all bets maybe be off next week against Pittsburgh. We'll see how that plays. But, yeah, you're going to see Ezekiel Elliott. You'll probably see more Rico Dowdle. Deuce Vaughn will be involved, and Hunter Lipke will be involved as well. Rico Dowdle has become a much better blitz pickup guy. And, when you watch the Giants play, you better be ready for some blitz pickup stuff. It's not going to happen to you all the time, but you will see guys that come, it's not all about the great push they get inside, or the guys on the edge. That Pennick, you'll see him blitz. You'll see others come. You have to be ready for the blitz pickup stuff with this football team. Rico Dowdle has shown he can do that. Hunter Lipke has shown he can do that. They're going to get Deuce Vaughn involved in some of the underneath stuff, the screen game, the Texas routes where it's out, it's in, it's inside. Those are the kinds of things. But right now, a Ezekiel Elliott on the field is a negative player for the Dallas Cowboys. And there has throughout history, that hasn't always been the case. But as we live and breathe here in 2024, that is the case.
Offensive line, Brian, two rookies, Cooper Beebe, Tyler Guyton. How well are they playing? I know Tyler Guyton had a rough time in week 1. By the way, so did Andrew Thomas in week 3. Myles Garrett is just really good. So I'm not holding it against either one of those guys for those performances. How have they played? And do you think Terrence Steele has looked a little bit better this year, another year off that ACL?
Yeah, it's all very good questions, and you're absolutely right. When you look at Tyler Guyton in week 1 against Myles Garrett, it was a surviving, just to survive. I mean, it was
poor kid. I felt bad for him, man. Week 1 against that monster, forget it.
It is all you could do to keep your feet and your hands and everything together there. And he survived the game. He actually survived the game. This is another. He was this past week against Owe. They had some moments where they had a couple of pressures on him, but his hands and his feet are getting better. Steele on the other side, Steele was really, has been good was good against the Browns, not so good against the Saints, a little bit of some struggle last week, against the Ravens, but that's kind of where he is. He might be a 1 sack a game guy, and you grade him 65 plays, he might have 2 bad plays. Your hope is the 1 bad play or the 2 bad plays that he has doesn't get your quarterback killed or gets the ball knocked out of his hands. With Burns, Thibodeau, there's always possibilities. Those 2 guys are legitimate pass rushers. So this will be tough both for Steele and for Guyton in this football game. And then Cooper Beebe inside at center will have his hands full with that monster nose tackle you have. So, is Zach Martin playing at a all-pro level? No, he's not. Tyler Smith, probably him, Beebe, probably 2 of your most consistent offensive linemen right now, the left guard, the center. But the bar with Zach Martin is so high that just being Zach Martin, like just instead of an all-pro, a Pro Bowl guy, or maybe a tick lower than that, there's been some times where people have gotten some push on him and affected things in the pocket. He's clearly playing the back 9 right now for him. He's just played at such a high level that when you expect, you're like, gosh, that I've never seen that happen before. It's happening a little more now.
All right, final question, Brian. Anything that maybe Giant fans aren't thinking about the Cowboys that maybe they should be? Anything that we haven't discussed that you're really keeping an eye on about this game and this matchup on Thursday night?
Yeah, something that the Giant fans need to be very mindful of is if this thing comes down to kicking field goals, Dallas has got one of the best in the league. And what's scary is, and I don't know what classic field logo you guys will have in the middle of your field. I don't know if we'll have the New York Football Giant one, the big circle with the guy throwing the ball. But if we get into that, or we have that old 2-bar Giant helmet in the middle of that field, I don't know. But this Dallas team, they're not afraid. If they get near that, they will trot that kicker on. Now, we're in an open-air stadium. We'll see what the conditions are. But this kid has got legitimate leg. And if it comes down to, oh, man, hey, you got to it's funny. We always see when we're watching these games on TV, the field goal line, they always kind of draw a line. His is kind of like at the opponent's 45.
Which is crazy.
Yeah. But that's one of the advantages that you, as the Dallas Cowboys, do have. And I sit there every week, and I'm a old school, man, I would not give him the ball here. I wouldn't try it. And the next thing you know, he's knocking home a 65-yard field goal. So, keep an eye on that. If it turns it, and I do, I know on DallasCowboys.com, I picked the Giants to win this game. I do. I think some of the things that the Giants do can give the Cowboys a problem. I think the Giants are a better football team than what we've seen in the past with this New York Giant football team. The skill players are much better. The quarterback, they're getting the ball out of his hand. He's not making the mistakes. I think he still kind of throws to spots a little bit. Maybe you can confuse him. But, yeah, I picked the Giants to win this thing 26-23. Dallas has got to prove to me that they can stop the run and they can get something going offensively. But this is not the old Giants team in the past where you go in there and you roll your helmet out there and expect to get a victory. I think this is going to be a very difficult game for the Dallas Cowboys to win.
And you mentioned specials just real quick. Brian Dable was just waxing poetic about Kevontae Turpin this week. I'm not sure if you saw that. It looked like watching that Ravens game. They were just kicking it away from him. They wanted no part even getting the ball in his hands, right?
No, that's something you have to think about. And to me, he is capable of bringing the ball back to midfield, especially if you kick it to him where he can run up on it, where everybody's stationary and now he's catching it and running. That ball's going to end up at the 40-yard line every time that happens. But, you're very smart to kick it out of the end zone or kick it away from him because he's got that kind of capability. If they block the thing clean, then he's got the capability of bringing it back on you or putting it on their side of the field, of the Giants side of the field. So it's going to be an interesting game in a lot of different ways. I think Robinson, and you start talking about Robinson and how a receiver – Turpin, Robinson, same kind of guy. You get him the ball, kind of things happen. Like I say, I love my LSU kid. I'm an LSU alum. I mean, I'm one of the few guys. I got called a homer a bunch because I had this kid over Marvin Harrison, but I've seen him play every week. So anything he's doing for you guys, it's not a surprise to me. I've seen this kid make even better plays than what he's making for you guys right now.
It's been a lot of fun watching him, Brian. I appreciate the
Amazing
time, man.
what you guys do. You guys take these LSU receivers and make them Hall of Famers is what you do.
He's had a heck of a start to his career, my man. Brian, good stuff. Have a good broadcast Thursday night, dude. Talk to you soon.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
The best part of football season? Checking out the post-game stats. Which wideout scored more than 2 touchdowns? Which QBs threw for less than 350 yards? Think you can pick who will do what before kickoff? Then play Pick 6 from DraftKings, an official daily fantasy partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings Pick 6 app, select between 2 and 6 players, and choose if they'll have more or less of a stat. It's that simple. And for all first-time Pick 6 players, check this out. New customers play $5 on your first pick set, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Download the new DraftKings Pick 6 app now and use code DK1. That's code DK1 for new customers to play $5 on your first pick set, get $50 in Pick 6 credits. Only on DraftKings Pick 6. The crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org in Connecticut. Must be 18 plus. Age and eligibility restrictions vary by jurisdiction. Pick 6 not available everywhere, including New York and Ontario. Void where prohibited. 1 per new customer. Non-withdrawable. Pick 6 credits. Expire in 6 months. Limited time offer. See terms at pick6.draftkings.com/promos.
You love turf. You're good at it. So you start a turf biz. Business grows. Your savings grow. Become the most celebrated name in turf. Are you ready for all that life brings?
The Giants Huddle podcast is brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. Citizens will donate $750 to the Giants Foundation for each scoring drive during the 2024 season. Learn more at citizensbank.com/Giants. Thank you to Bryan Broaddus. Thank you to Tyler Smith. Now we turn our attention to a member of Big Blue. Azeez Ojulari had a big game in Week 3 against the Cleveland Browns. I had a chance to talk to him this week. And now we're joined by Giants edge rusher, Azeez Ojulari. Azeez, how are you, man?
What's up, man? I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm great. So how did your team keep it together in the locker room? Obviously, 0-2 start. No one wanted that.
Yeah.
I'm sure emotionally you guys are down on yourselves.
Yeah.
How did you hold it together heading into Cleveland to come up with that performance that you did?
Yeah, we just know it's a week-to-week, business here, and we just got to take it 1 week at a time. We just gathered together as a defense, as a unit, everyone just trying to improve on what we could fix throughout the games and try to just focus, look in the mirror and just check yourself and just come together as one and try to fix it all out there on Sunday.
How much is it how the coaches address you after those 2 tough losses, and how much is it you guys talking to each other one-on-one, player to player in the locker room?
Yeah, definitely. It's really like a players thing, because we're the ones out there on the field, That's
why I asked.
And so we got to keep it together and keep it, make sure we're talking to each other every day, whatever it is, just making sure just keep the communication up, because that's big when you're out there on the field.
What was the difference for the defense in Week 3 after a rough week? I'm sure it stuck in your guys' craw. Not one punt, not one takeaway against Washington.
Right. Yeah. It was tough, man. We know we had to come out there and try to find ways to get takeaways. That's the big emphasis, and we did that, and that helps big time, man. We just gotta keep going for that, big time.
Is it just a continuing of getting used to Bowen's system? Is it executing better on the field? What made the difference from like an X's and O's and execution perspective?
I'll say it's probably execution and just want to, for real. Just execution, want to, just grind and grit. Just grit, really, for sure. I believe that's what it is.
Now, Shane was a little bit more aggressive in the game. You guys played more man-to-man, and you blitzed more than you did in the first 2 games combined. Going into the game, did you realize that was going to be the plan?
Yeah, Coach, he called it aggressively, and we were practicing that, so we was ready, and we executed out there, and we was just ready to attack, and that's what I feel like we did that. We did that on Sunday.
Why do you think that was a more successful approach for your group in that particular matchup?
Yeah, I feel like we got the pieces everywhere that we match up with everyone, so I feel like that was a great play calling scheme. Everyone, just the pressure here and there, everywhere. So it was like getting people off their spot and all that, and it was just being disruptive, I think, all over.
How does that help you when they send more than 4 as an edge rusher to try to get home and disrupt the quarterback?
Definitely, man. You get a different match. You might get a rush on the guard. It's just switch up things. Interior pressure. It's like you put the quarterback off his spot, which is big. Get him off his spot. It's just like time things up quicker. He has to make a decision quicker, and it disrupts a lot of things, and that's what is very important. It's impactful for sure.
Now, last year, the defense did not have the opportunity to put many leads. You guys were usually behind, or it was very close. Yeah. You guys got up to a 2-score lead in the first half in this game. Yeah. And the Browns, they tend to throw the ball a little bit more once they're down by 2 scores. So how does that help you as a pass rusher when a team is really in that pass-first mode for an entire half of football?
Yeah, when the team is in that pass-first mode, for sure you get to pin your ears back and read your keys and completely try to get off the ball as fast as you can and try to be an advantage on the O-lineman. Because they know it's pass and we know it's pass. So it's like it's time to go, it's time to roll, try to go get home. And try to affect the quarterback no matter what way you can. If you know it's pass because they're trying to catch back up, you got to go and throwing things. So, we just try to run games. Whatever it is, we try to get back there and just make a big play for the team.
Now, fans were upset. They considered, and I'm not saying they're correct, they considered the first 2 games, they thought, they played a little bit passive. They played too much zone. But I talked to you guys in the offseason. I talked to Shane. Yeah. That is not the P word that he uses in meetings with you guys. Even if it's a zone scheme and you're not blitzing a lot, he still wants you guys to play aggressive, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So can you explain that to fans, how you guys still have an aggressive mindset, even if you're not blitzing a ton, even if you're not playing a ton of man-to-man? Can you explain that to fans, how those 2 things are possible at the same time?
Yeah, definitely. We just go out there. He's an attacking type of mindset, defensive coordinator. He wants us to attack. Even he wants us to rush before and get there. An attacking mindset. He wants to roll off the ball, just roll off and attack vertical. Like he wants penetration, and that's his style. And we love their style. Either in the back end, like they're attackers. Like he wants people to go get the ball, physical guys, and that's what we do. So I feel like that's what we got to show. Sunday.
How much do you like lining up as wide as he lets you do on some of these passing downs?
Yeah, I love it, man. You get out there because you can switch things up on people. So it ain't, you try to bring the tackle into your world. So bring them in that space, make them move a little bit. So that's lovely for sure.
And I thought you guys did a good job of that last week. You guys are a lot of times we were lined up against DeJuan Jones, who's the right tackle. Good young player.
Right.
But he's a large man.
Yeah, he's big.
And
sure.
He's a mountain, but mountains don't move that well. And it seemed like, and again, this is not me taking a shot at the player. He's a good player. But it seemed like they wanted to get you, Kayvon, Burns, who weigh literally 100 pounds less than he does. And you wanted to use your speed to kind of challenge his outside shoulder. Was that part of your game plan in that game?
Yeah, definitely, man. We want to challenge him. We want to move him, try to get him to move. That's one of the main things we want to do. He's a big man, so we want to get him moving his feet and try to just beat him with speed, get him around, get that outside hand. And we know he could keep up with us with the speed, so we just tried to work that last Sunday, and it worked well for us.
It did. 8 sacks by 9 different guys. Is it even more special when it's a team effort like that?
Yeah, man, that's special. That just shows all the work we got, work we put in, and sky's the limit. We still got more to go, and it's special because it's still early in the season, so we got to keep pushing. And we want more. We want more.
Absolutely. Where's Azeez Ojulari right now as a player? Like in terms of, last year you had a tough year. We know you did with the injuries and everything. How are you feeling? Where do you think you're at here, heading into your fourth or now 3 games into your fourth NFL season?
Man, I'm healthy. I'm ready. I'm excited. And I'm just keep pushing every day, one day at a time. I'm focused. I'm locked in. And just want to give it all I got out there every time I get the opportunity to go out there with my brothers and have fun, man. Continue having fun out here. Just live it up, man. I'm just excited. Just make plays. Enjoy it, man. Just enjoy the game.
Correct me if my memory's incorrect. You did not miss a practice during training camp, correct?
Correct.
You had every single one.
Yeah.
What did that mean to you to be able to get out there for every practice?
Nah,
after
that
the
was
last
great.
Couple years?
Yeah, that was phenomenal. You know why? Because it's like building that callus every day at practice, that continuous effort, grind, grit. Every day you're out there. You're not missing no days. It helps you definitely for the regular season because, training camp's supposed to be hard. Practice is supposed to be hard. So when the season comes, it's not. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but it's supposed to help you get through these. The season throughout the length of the season. It's a long season. The grit and grind, your body should be used to it, and it's well prepared. So it's great. It was great.
And I imagine you probably feel at peak physical ability right now, right?
Exactly,
Your arm banged up from a long
bad.
season,
Right.
but you got all your practice in, so your stamina is good. Is this as good as you're going to feel in terms of from a physical perspective?
Yes, sir, for sure, definitely. I feel like it is. It's early in the season still, but body's feeling great, and I feel like this is a great time and great peak, and just keep rolling.
Did you ever feel as good as you do right now today at any point during last season?
Not last. Not any point. I say the only when early in the season, probably week 2 or 3. It was early though, but after that it was over. After that it was tough.
How does it help you as a player besides like the physical stamina stuff, just in terms of technique, being ready to play? Being able to practice and just worry about not having to be in the training room.
Right.
I know you love Ronnie Barnes, but you don't want to see him every day, right? So how does it help you as a player to actually be able to practice every day and hone your craft?
Man, it's phenomenal because every player needs those reps. Those reps are very important. And being out there, seeing the game, playing, striking your hands, your feet, your leverage, your pad level, all of that takes reps, and days after days after days of constantly doing it right way, and your body get used to it, and by the time the seasons roll, you're out there rolling. It's quick, easy. Oh, you've seen that before. Oh, okay, I seen that at practice. Oh, that's what we talked about last in training camp. Okay, it's coming back up, and you see it, you feel it. Oh, there you go, boom, just like that. So I feel like that's important.
How has Bryan Broaddus been in that room? Dealing with him, he seems like the coolest, down-to-earth, chill superstar I've ever met. How has he been working with you and trying to make you a better player?
I love Burns, man. He's a great superstar. Like you said, he's a great person, great guy. He looks out for you, man. He wants everyone to get better and continue to do great things on the field. He tries to teach us new things, and we try to learn from him every time we get, every chance he gets. He try to pour it into us also. Because, everyone, you want to be on that level that he plays on. And, it's amazing to look up to him and, like, just have him in the room and just keep pushing every day. We try to push each other every day and just keep continuing growing.
All right, just on the matchup now. I went back and I looked.
Yeah.
Do you know what your record is against the Cowboys since you've been with the Giants?
Oh, let me see. I think
I'm just curious.
Did we get one win? I don't think I'll beat them yet. I haven't beat them.
You have not beaten the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah.
You are correct. I was just wondering. I was wondering if mentality as a player, if that's something you register. So, is that like a statement game for the organization? You've been here a while now, right?
Right.
All right. You guys need to take it serious now. Last year, you beat the Eagles in the final game of the year. That mattered.
Right.
Now, or the Cowboys next, we're like, all right, we need to show that we can beat this team.
Right, definitely. I feel like every game is important, but this is a division game also. And, it's been a minute. Definitely we have to turn that around, and we have to come out there, execute at a high level, play together as a team, as a unit, as one, and give it all because – man, we got to get a win, man.
And you guys haven't sacked Dak in a minute either.
Right.
What makes him a difficult quarterback, aside from his mobility, maybe the mental part of it? What makes him difficult to sack?
Man, Dak is a great quarterback. He's a big guy. He's elusive. He could get out sacks. And it's like when he goes down, he tries to get the ball out. He's always looking to throw. He's not always trying to take a sack.
Right.
He's not just going to go down on first contact. He's looking to get that ball out of his hands. So that's probably one of the big things. He's always looking for his receivers, whatever chance he gets, to get the ball to him.
I think people think of him as a young quarterback still, but is he
Yeah.
kind of turning into one of those quarterbacks that it's really hard to trick and fool him now, given everything he's seen?
Yeah, Dak has seen a lot. He's one of those quarterbacks, definitely for sure. Big time quarterback. He's a great quarterback. He knows what's coming too. He's been in the league for a long time. He done it at a high level, and so he's definitely on that level for sure.
Now, the good news for you guys, you don't have to deal with Tyron Smith anymore. He's not there. Yeah. He's gone. You don't have to worry about him now.
Yeah.
Tell me about the 2 offensive tackles. You've gone against Terrence Steele before.
Terrence Steele.
Then they have the rookie Tyler Guy, and I'm sure you've watched them.
Yeah.
Tell me about those 2 guys. How are they similar? How are they different? What do they look like on tape?
Yeah, they're they got 2 great guys too also. And every time we go out there it's great. It's great competition, try to get after those guys. And we just got to keep working as a unit. Combative rush. All the inside guys and outside guys, we got to rush and combative because Dak could also run and get out of there. So we got to make sure he's combative, keep him in that pocket, cage him up, and try to get to him, man. Both of the tackles, they're athletic. They're big guys, and they're strong too. So we just got to work the execution. You got to, get around them guys.
I know they haven't been super productive yet, but what do you see from the Cowboys running backs, Zeke Elliott, Rico Dowdle, when you've watched them in the first couple of games?
Yeah, they run hard. They're tough guys, They also got Deuce Vaughn in there.
That's right,
little guy. But, yeah, they run hard. Deco, you probably start with him, Rico. And then Zeke, we all know what Zeke have done in this league. And, he's probably, I don't know what year he is now, but he's definitely older. But, he's still going to run hard, and we all got to gang tackle these guys and bring them down. As a unit for real. All 11 has to the ball.
Azeez, good stuff, man. Appreciate it, dude.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you to Azeez. Thank you to Bryan. Thank you to Tyler. Really a fun Giants Huddle podcast today, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. Hope you're ready for Thursday Night Football as the Giants try to go in 2-2 against the 1-2 Cowboys, who are trying to achieve that same record. So Giants and Cowboys tied in third place at 1-2. One of these teams will stand alone in last place when this game is over. We'll find out which one on Thursday night. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you next time.
Some people just know they could save hundreds on car insurance by checking Allstate first. Like to check the date of the big game first before you accidentally buy tickets on your 20th wedding anniversary and have to spend the next 20 years of your marriage making up for it. Yeah, checking first is smart. So check Allstate first for a quote that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Savings vary. Terms apply. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
You go into your shower feeling, but as soon as you reach for the Irish Spring, your day immediately gets better. That crisp, fresh, unmistakable Irish Spring scent zings your brain and awakens your senses. So when you finally emerge from the shower, 37 minutes later, because you pay the water bill so you can stay in there as long as you want, you're ready to take on the day and smell great doing it. Irish Spring Body Wash and Bar Soap. Fresh, green, Irish. Shop now at Walmart.